Today is January 8th. To my utter astonishment, and I really mean it, Joe Biden has appointed Mahty Walsh from Dorchester, which is about 3 miles from where I'm sitting, to be the nominee for Labor Secretary. Here he is.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve the American people. The word labor means everything to me. As you mentioned earlier, Mr. President-elect, my mother and father came to this country as immigrants from Galway, which is in Ireland, but from a part of Galway called Connemara. They brought with them their willing hands, their honest hearts, and hopes for the American dream. But all they needed, because my father joined the Labor's Union in Boston, was that opportunity. And that's why my parents were able to raise my brother, John, and myself with dignity and security in the multi-ethnic, multi-racial, working-class neighborhood of Dorchester in the city of Boston.
Marty is the mayor of a city that I know probably better than he does in terms of reality. I used to be pals with Tommy Menino, who was the mayor when I was a bum in Boston. And Tommy used to stand up on I think it was the fourth floor window at City Hall. When I'd walk by sometimes, he'd find out. And that was about it. Tommy knew the city was empty. Mahty? Who the hell knows about Mahty? Mahty got wicked Boston accent though, doesn't he? Here's his city that he supervises at 22 degrees Fahrenheit 2 years ago, a year before COVID. You can see the south end itself is just, there's nothing on. This is 111 Huntington. It's got some steam on. This is a quick tour, but here's a little side note. In, I think it was 2002, I was sitting at 111 Huntington, which is the building that just passed down in front of it in the lobby in the Prudential Center. And one of Mahty's predecessors, Robert Reich, walked by. And I went over to him. I said, Mr. Former Secretary, how are you today? He pretended not to know me, or maybe he really didn't. He might have been that dumb. I was running the city at the time. And, whatever he said. He was with a goonie, too. And I said, what's a Marine Corps general doing living in a homeless shelter in an empty city? Well, he couldn't answer that question. Then the goonie decided to get a little stupid, so I just dropped it. 111 Huntington. I just picked this clip because it showed the south end, and it's pretty desolate looking. It's a little less desolate looking than the bright sunny day on the other side because I had the camera pointing up instead of... Weymouth's on. Man, they got the power plants. I guess this is to prove the Green New Deal is really needed. They forgot to pay enough for us to put the heat on the south end, I guess. That's Roxbury over there. We were doing counterterrorism work in Boston from February through May of 2017. Anti-gasser work. Let me add quickly that this was counterterrorism work that, to my knowledge, Joe Biden and Mahty Walsh have never acknowledged to anybody. Charlie Baker, well, he drove past me one day. That's plenty. I should also say that, with ISIS, AQAP, which we turned into QAP, and El Nusra and other stuff around. El Shabaab, they were around. We were cleaning up the remnants of terrible foreign policy by the Obama and Biden administration. And we called these people friends of Obama. And one of the places they gassed, to my astonishment, eventually showed up when I came back in 2018 was the Holocaust Memorial. Right across from City Hall, right across the street. And here's the map. Wicked Mahty from Boston, who could be that really great actor in that Sam Adams ad, but now he's just acting as mayor. Didn't do anything about it. Here's a video I took 2020. That's 2 years after I first noticed it gassed. And we're at the Holocaust Memorial, across the street from City Hall. Yeah, the video starts in the same park. I'm going to show you the Curly part. That has Curly, then City Hall, and then we do the Holocaust Memorial. Curly, by the way, I looked at Biden as being the ghost of James Michael Curley, who was a former mayor. In my scorekeeping, which is metaphysical, which is crazy and doesn't count, Biden's no longer Curly. Curly's ghost. He's now a Balamic bro. We just had a mob scene of 4 show up. That's huge today. Show up next to Curly. There's one Curly. There he is on the bench. They got 2 Curlys in this park. City Hall. It's right there. Here's the map again. As you can see, Mahty works right across the street if he actually works there. In fact, I should say that after Mahty said nothing about anything to any of our people, I used to walk around and say, you know Mahty Walsh? Mahty was my mother's name. It was. I'm here at the Holocaust Memorial right outside City Hall, right behind Curly. Let me show you a few things. Terrible, right? That's a boxwood spewing ricin nerve gas at a Holocaust Memorial. I'm not even going to smell the others. They're probably the same. Pretty medium in the air. It's not actually heavy right now. They might have tried to hide a few things. And somebody was obviously here in front of me marking it orange. Orange is the color of poison. They got coronavirus masks on, but they don't have nerve gas masks on. Marty was informed about the nerve gas. He didn't change it or move it. And then I walked about a block and a half through the Haymarket. It was Haymarket vegetable produce sale day. And the nerve gas from across the street on the Greenway was blowing over into the Haymarket, and nobody said anything. Here's the video. Back on the Greenway, it's Haymarket behind me. Those boxwoods, they were bad 2 years ago, just like the ones at the Holocaust Memorial. They're still in there. They're still spewing nerve gas. I was downwind of it a moment ago. I cut out the part about fighting $7 trillion in funny money being an impossibility. A lesson of James Michael Curley, but I'm going to leave in the part about the JFK building that's coming up here. I'm on the other side of the Haymarket train station. I'm at the Haymarket train station, right across the street from it. Parking lot. There's the old JFK federal buildings. 1976, that's where I swore an oath to fight communism because I was getting a job washing test tubes and a few other things at the Environmental Protection Agency. And as a federal employee making $2.30 an hour, I needed to be brought in here and swear an oath. Mahty's super competent. You don't think he's competent? He's been pretending really good. I thought he was a joke when he first won after, I think he won after Menino died or just before Menino died. I liked Tommy, I really did. Teddy, let me leave you with a reminder of what those people are on the stage who want to be on my property. This is the property I'm talking about, the property in D.C. In a couple of weeks. Running things, putting more funny money into the system. They're all curly.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve the American people. The word labor means everything to me. As you mentioned earlier, Mr. President-elect, my mother and father came to this country as immigrants from Galway, which is in Ireland, but from a part of Galway called Connemara. They brought with them their willing hands, their honest hearts, and hopes for the American dream. But all they needed, because my father joined the Labor's Union in Boston, was that opportunity. And that's why my parents were able to raise my brother, John, and myself with dignity and security in the multi-ethnic, multi-racial, working-class neighborhood of Dorchester in the city of Boston.
By popular demand, I need to put in a little clip about the story about fighting funny money. A lesson from James Michael Curley. I'll put it in here as an addendum. James Michael Curley taught anyone who was paying attention a lot. The mayor of Boston. In the Depression, he'd walk out of Old City Hall, which is a couple blocks from here, with a handful of pennies and throw them in the air, and everybody loved them. When on March 12th we talked about creating all kinds of electrons, I already knew. Curley's example, you can't fight it. Can't fight City Hall. Have a nice day.